Opendoor stock heads into Thursday's pre-market with an intriguing mix of price action, technical setup, and narrative catalysts. The $2.50 mark remains front and center as the psychological resistance level everyone's watching. We've seen this week start with a spike to $2.60, followed by a pullback to around $2.35, and then a steady rebound. That rebound matters. It shows this stock has resilience. Buyers are willing to step in on dips, and that's the kind of price action that can form a strong base for the next move higher. In Wednesday's aftermarket, the stock was flat, down just a penny. On paper, that's not much movement, but in practice, it's not a bad sign at all. Sometimes flat trading after hours signals consolidation rather than fading interest. It can mean traders are simply waiting for the next catalyst, and right now, there's one sitting clearly on the horizon: Monday's interview between Opendoor's CEO and Anthony Pompliano. Over the last few days, both Pompliano and Eric Jackson have been openly discussing ways Opendoor's business model could intersect with Bitcoin and blockchain technology. This is a fascinating addition to the Opendoor story because it introduces a narrative crossover between two very different worlds: the traditional, asset-backed stability of real estate and the high volatility, high innovation culture of crypto. For some investors, that crossover might be uncomfortable. Traditional property investors, especially the institutional or more conservative cohort, often see real estate as a place for steady, predictable returns. Crypto, by contrast, is volatile, speculative, and driven as much by sentiment as by fundamentals. Trying to merge those cultures can feel like mixing oil and water. But there's another way to look at it. If Opendoor can strike the right balance between the two, maintaining the operational stability and market credibility that comes with being a major player in the housing market, while selectively incorporating crypto-related capabilities into its platform, it could carve out a truly unique position in the marketplace. That kind of strategic blend could be defining for the company's next chapter. We've seen companies in the past invoke the crypto play to ignite short-term interest, with mixed results. Sometimes it sparks a big rally, but other times it raises volatility without delivering long-term benefits. The difference comes down to execution, whether crypto is used as a gimmick or as an integrated, value-adding part of the business. If Opendoor explores it intelligently, there's potential to broaden its customer base and open new revenue streams, without losing the core strengths that make it relevant to the housing market in the first place. And this is where Monday's interview becomes so interesting. Pompliano's audience is full of retail traders, crypto enthusiasts, and people who appreciate bold, disruptive business ideas. That's an entirely different crowd from the more conservative analysts and investors Opendoor usually engages with. The CEO's appearance on that platform is a chance to speak directly to a segment of the market that thrives on speculative upside. Even if the conversation about crypto is non-committal, which is the most likely outcome, just acknowledging openness to innovative payment solutions or blockchain integration could be enough to drive short-term enthusiasm. From a short-term trading perspective, that enthusiasm could be amplified by the stock's elevated short interest, still estimated at around 20 to 25% of the float. That's a high enough level that if retail buying volume surges, shorts could be forced to cover quickly, leading to the kind of fast, sharp move that pushes through resistance levels. Technically, the setup is clear. $2.50 is the wall. If the stock can break above and hold it with volume, we could see a retest of $2.60 and potentially a run toward the psychological $3 level. Support has been solid around $2.35, and holding that floor keeps the bullish structure intact. Pre-market and early intraday volume will be key indicators to watch. They'll tell us if buyers are trying to get ahead of the Monday catalyst. The macro backdrop still plays in Opendoor's favor for the longer term. The Federal Reserve September meeting is coming up, and markets are pricing in a high likelihood of a rate cut. Lower mortgage rates can re-energize the housing market, bringing more buyers into play, speeding up transaction times, and improving spreads for Opendoor. That's the kind of fundamental tailwind that complements the more speculative near-term catalysts we're seeing now. And it's worth thinking about how these elements fit together. On one hand, you have the solid, long-term story, rate cuts, housing recovery, operational leverage. On the other, you have this wave of social media-driven retail attention, with Bitcoin and blockchain speculation adding fuel to the fire. If Opendoor can bridge these worlds, showing traditional investors it's still a serious, disciplined company, while signaling to retail traders that it's willing to innovate, it could strengthen its market position in both camps. That's not an easy balance to strike. Lean too far into the speculative side and you risk alienating the long-term capital. Play it too safe and you miss the chance to capture the momentum that can drive rapid price appreciation. But if management can communicate a vision that incorporates both stability and innovation, traditional real estate and selective crypto integration, then Monday's interview could be remembered as an inflection point, not just a PR stop. As we head into Thursday's session, the game plan for traders is straightforward. Watch for early tests of $2.50. Track volume closely. Spikes in pre-market or in the first hour after the open could signal a breakout attempt. Pay attention to the tone and direction of social media chatter, especially if Pompliano or Jackson drop any more hints about Monday's interview or potential crypto connections. For investors with a longer horizon, the focus is on how Opendoor positions itself strategically. Rate cuts and a housing rebound are macro factors that could benefit the business in the coming quarters. If crypto or blockchain elements are integrated in a way that truly adds customer value, whether that's through payment flexibility, transaction speed, or new market access, it could become a differentiator in an otherwise crowded real estate tech field. Bottom line for Thursday, Opendoor is in a rare position where short-term momentum drivers and long-term strategic possibilities are overlapping. The stock has a clear technical hurdle in $2.50, a strong support level at $2.35, and a major sentiment catalyst on the calendar. If the company can hint at a balanced approach, embracing innovation without abandoning its traditional real estate foundation, it could create a narrative powerful enough to resonate with both ends of the investor spectrum. That kind of balance, if achieved, might just be defining for Opendoor's future.